Hi guys, and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today we're looking at the Tech Tree Premium, the Tier 3 American light tank, the M22 Locust, and this little whirlwind of destruction makes a great crew trainer. It's got a 57% silver bonus and a 60% crew XP bonus. I don't think it's the highest on the Americans. I think the Tier 2 Premium is higher, but this is just so much fun. It really is, and if you're looking for an American crew trainer, you can't go too far wrong with this. Now, basic armour figures: 25mm on the front, 13 on the side, and 13 on the rear as well. And the turret, it claims to be 25mm all around, so not tons of armour on the sides and the rear, but I have had a few bounces off the turret in Tier 3 matches, and I have actually had a few bounces off that upper plate because it's quite well sloped. But before we look too much at the armour, let's go into the gun details and have a look at that. Right, we've got a 192 horsepower engine, and we'll see what power to weight ratio it gives it in just a moment. You've got a 37mm gun, which has got a rate of fire of 26.2 rounds a minute with 56mm penetration with 40 average damage, 78 on your premium APCR, again 40 damage, and a very low 19 and 50 on your HE, but it is a very small caliber gun, so you don't expect the HE to perform too well. Good aiming time at 1.71 seconds, not particularly good accuracy at 0.41, although to be honest, I'd say that's about average for down at Tier 3. 330 metre view range, again quite average for Tier 3, so if you are planning on sort of running this as a proper scout, I would recommend some kind of optics. And it's got a hull traverse of 40 degrees a second and a turret traverse of 40 degrees a second, but not a particularly good signal range at 395. Now, to give that gun a little bit of comparison, let's just have a quick look at the tech tree. Let's have a look at, say, M3 Stuart. That gets 37mm gun, slightly higher penetration on both the standard and the APCR, slightly lower rate of fire though, but about the same aiming time and accuracy. So as you can see, it's pretty much sort of quite average for down there, but I suppose you could class it as a medium tank gun on a light tank. But like I say, it zips around the battlefield. I have a lot of fun in this. It's very hard to take it seriously and to drive it seriously. You just want to speed around everywhere like a lunatic, and yeah, you do tend to have some good fun. And like I say, you can bounce quite a few shots off that upper plate and that slightly thicker lower plate. But we'll have a look at the modules now. Right, well, your reload time is 2.29 seconds. Your concealment is quite good at 0.36, and obviously it gets the light tank bonuses. It does play up to Tier 5, so that does look like standard matchmaking, although you could argue the fact that it could be premium, preferential light tank matchmaking, but it basically sees 2 tiers higher. That's all you need to know. Right, engine. Quite a small target at the back of the tank, and you can damage it through the front as well. I don't think I've ever had that done to me yet, but it can happen, so do be aware of that. That 192 horsepower engine, this is a very light tank, so it gives it a very good power to weight ratio of 29.41 horsepower per ton, and you've got a 20 km/h reverse speed, 64 km/h going forward. So, gun where you'd expect it to be. Tracks. Again, I mean, if you're shooting this thing from the side, you're just going to pen it, generally. Turret on top, radio in the back. I've had my radio knocked out a couple of times in this, which can prove difficult, obviously, if you're trying to spot. Ammunition just in front of the engine, so obviously do beware of that if you get hit in the side. If it's not going to damage your engine, it's going to damage your ammo, and everything's cram-packed that close in here that if it doesn't damage one of those, chances are it's going to kill a crew member. And there your 3 crew members, so you've got the driver at the front, commander and gunner squeezed into that tiny little turret. Armour, not really much to show on the armour side of things. 13 on the sides and the rear, like it says. Your tracks obviously do act as a certain amount of spaced armour like they do on everything else, but you'll also notice that even though it says 25mm of armour on the front, your upper plate is not 25mm, it's somewhere in the distance of between 1 and 20. But again, we don't actually have the exact figures. Now your 25mm seems to be that rounded bit going down to your lower plate. Also the driver's hatch, and then all the way around on the turret, so the turret is telling us the truth. And then you do have a slightly thicker bit, which is actually your turret ring, which is quite unusual. They're normally a bit weaker than the rest of the tank, but not on this one. That's the strongest part of your tank, so if you're going to get hit, try and get hit in the turret ring. Yeah, like that's going to happen. Anyway, I think that's about it. Oh no, sorry. Equipment wise, well, I've put the torsion bars on because you really don't want to get your tracks knocked off, and it does help if you get a bit of air as well. You're not going to knock your own tracks off. And then I've just stuck vents on it, and I've put binoculars on for when I'm in tier 5 matches to turn it more into a passive scout. Let's just go into here. I don't think you can have a gun rammer. No, you can't. You can have a gun lane drive, but you can't have a gun rammer. So it's entirely up to you what you put on it. I mean, if you wanted to run it as an active scout, you could stick coated optics on instead of the binocular ones. But like I say, I stuck the binocular ones on because at tier 5, well, I think there is just about everything can outspot you. So you're best off playing more of a passive role in tier 5 and then doing an R2 run, that sort of thing. But anyway, enough of me rambling on. Let's get into the gameplay and see how it actually handles. Right, so here we are for the first of the replays, and of course it wouldn't be me if I didn't forget something. So I forgot the ammo price and the cost of the actual tank. It's 900 gold from the tech tree. And it keeps every now and again coming up in a new tanker kit, which is, to be honest, if you see it, it's well worth it. I think it's normally around either 850 or 900 gold, but you get a couple of other bits with it, which makes it well, a very good deal actually. And the armour costs, armour piercing are 18, silver per shot, your APCR are 800 and your HE are 10, although I don't carry any HE myself, just 35 AP and 15 APCR. Even in the tier 5 matches, there's not a great deal that you can't penetrate with your standard ammunition if you get up close and outflank, although you will struggle obviously with things like KV1. Those you will need your premium ammunition, and you still will need to be quite close and flanking at the same time. So we're on Pacific Island, tier 3 match was it? I think I wasn't paying attention, I'll have to admit. And it's a standard battle. And while I'm just looking for the enemy, I'm going to take the opportunity to give a shout out to Custom Controllers. We've sort of got together and we're going to do some mutual promotion for well, him for my channel and me for his business, doing custom made, some awesome custom made controllers, and also he does consoles themselves as well, and does lots of really cool airbrushed artwork on there. And he's actually got a channel. He's uploaded some of the videos featuring some of his artwork and his controllers, and they're in my subscriptions. And I'll also put a link to his Facebook page and website in the channel description, the video description. So you guys ought to go and take a look, because there is some very cool artwork on display there. And I am lucky enough to be getting a controller as well, so I'll be doing a nice review of that when it turns up, and I am quite excited, so I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, I've been putting out a few shots. I've taken a lot of damage, unfortunately. I've been a bit silly in it so far, and like I said in the garage, I want to play it properly. I just find myself being a bit silly and driving around like a lunatic when I'm in it. I don't know, it just brings that out in me. And this one is actually from the other day when I was training up the Lycan crew, which is why I've not got any camouflage on it. I found myself an arty. Alright, that's one of the arties taken care of, but there's two more. There's a Valentine AT up there. Remember, always go for the gun shield. It's the weakest part of the tank. Now, something else I didn't mention in the garage as well was crew skills, and to be honest, I just forgot, because I don't really tend to have a decent crew in this ever. I'm usually using it as a crew trainer to sort of train up the first couple of skills or something like that on a crew. So, I mean, this was an untrained crew. I think this might have been about 50% camouflage at the time, and the other replays that I've got are untrained, just training up the same crew. and I think it was around 80%, 90% camouflage, and that was it on it. But I've managed to rack up another couple of kills. And now, instead of going straight after that T1E6, I'm going to sweep round instead. But it is just an incredibly fun little tank. And I suppose if you were going to run it properly and not so much use it as crew trainer and have a proper crew in it, you'd want your typical light tank sort of skills. You know, you train up camouflage, swap it for Sixth Sense, train up camouflage again, and then you want your, you know, your camo skills, your muffled shot, maybe off-road driving to increase your, improve your terrain resistances, that sort of stuff, to use it as an active scout. And oh, that was so close. It's left me on 3 health. Am I going to get him? Can I get behind this rock in this tank? Come on, I got jammed. Oh, so close. And now he's got a little bit of a reload, just long enough for me to finish him off. That was fun. Right, not a bad little round. And you can see there, I mean, with the experience, how good it is at crew training. 2,592 experience. Came out with first class mastery badge and 823 damage done. And 46 blocked as well. As you could see, that T1E6 PS at the end there, it did penetrate a couple of shots, but a lot of them bounced, or enough bounced to just leave me on a mercy roll of 3 health, so that was very, very lucky. Yeah, it was a tier 3 match, so top of the table with that one. I do like this tank. It really does. Well, I really can have a lot of fun in it when I'm training up American crews. Right, so second replay for you. It's Fjords, standard battle again, but this time it's a tier 4 match. Now, like I said, this does see up to tier 5, and you do see them. I mean, I don't know if I'm just particularly lucky with this tank. Certainly a lot of tanks I'm not very lucky with when it comes to matchmaking. But with this one, I don't tend to see a great deal of tier 5. I see the odd one. I mean, today I've been in this a few times actually, training this crew up and obviously getting a bit of footage for the review. I did have some done, but I decided to see if I could do anything a bit better. And even today, out of maybe 10 matches that I've been in this today, I think I've only been in tier 5 once. And I think that's possibly because there's normally quite a lot of people playing down at the lower tiers. You've got a lot of the new players, and you've got people like me who are crew training, and then you've just got the dirty seal clubbers that just go down here, and the toughest thing they can find and find nothing but premium ammunition, and just ruin noobs' days. Well, newbies' days. But yeah, and I don't know whether it's because of that, but I do very rarely seem to see tier 5 in this. Now I was going to go back down to the corner, but that tank destroyer decided to go down there instead, so decided to, well, I decided, how many times have I said decided? So yeah, stayed up here basically, took out the Japanese heavy, and put in a few shots into that A20. Now 40 average damage, and it's not the worst you can get, but it does take a while to chip away at tier 4s and 5s. That was a speculative shot to see if it'd pop back out again, but I think I was a bit high. Yeah, very high. Here he comes. Just put a cheeky one through him for his trouble. And he's still popping back. No, I'm still down here. While you're popping in and out, I'm going to stop here and I'm going to shoot at you. But with it being such a small, low-profile tank, there's only a small rise there, but I was basically completely hull down and in cover, so it made it very difficult for him to see me. And again, I just can't play it properly. I tried for a little bit and then it's like, no, let's just get in there. So I came charging up, dipped and went into the mountain there and slowed myself down, so I've had to reposition, but it allowed me to put a lot of shots into him and set him on fire, so bonus. Now, what other trouble can I get into? Ooh, that was a nasty hit. Right, you deserve my attention now. Now, DW2s, you have to be careful where you're going to put your shots. And even though it's got a good turret traverse and hull traverse, sometimes the turret does struggle to keep up with the target, especially if you're zipping past it or trying to go around it in tight circles. And with the 40-degree hull traverse, sometimes to try and circle some of these lower down tanks, these lower tier tanks, they tend to have a bit faster turret traverse than they do up the tiers. So it can be tricky to sort of get the right speed and stay in a tight enough circle to avoid the turret traverse. But again, nice little victory. And that was a tier 4 match, like I say. Just over 3,000 XP. I don't know, did I get any for an op there? Another first class mastery. Less damage done, but I was shooting higher tiered targets. Got 500 for the op, so it would have been just over 2,500 without it. But still, that's not too bad. Top of the table in a tier 3 and a tier 4, which is, well, I'm happy with that. Always happy with that. But the amount of XP that you can get in this, like I say, it just shows what a good little crew trainer it is. And, you know, that's one of the reasons why you'd buy a Locust. The other one is because it's just incredible fun. Right, the last match of the video for us, and it's Tundra. It's another tier 3 match, and it's a standard battle again. And hopefully after this one, you'll maybe well, hopefully after this one, I'll be able to speak English again, and you might be able to make your minds up whether you'd like to fork out the 900 gold to pick one of these up and have a bit of fun while training your American crews. So, as always in the Locust, it's off to a quick start, zipping right into the thick of it, especially in a tier 3 match. That's when you can be absolutely devastating in one of these. Now don't get me wrong, you'll not buy one of these, jump in it and immediately just be, well, like I described it in the garage, a whirlwind of destruction. It will take a little bit of practice, but once you get good in this thing, it is absolutely awesome. Especially if you get a bit of luck on your side. Now I'm going to go to town on the Japanese tier 3. Type 91 over there, see me, that one just went over the top. Like I say, it's a small target to hit this, but I did outstay my welcome slightly, a bit overconfident, and got my gunner knocked out as punishment. I'll just nip over to this side. Now at this point I'd not noticed that enemy tank on the map behind me. I had become very guilty of target fixation, and yeah, I just wasn't checking the map at that point. Now I took a hit on the tracks, took another hit to the hull and another one. But do you know what? I just don't care. That's kind of how it makes me feel, the Locust. Like I say, it's just fun. It's such a nippy, zippy sort of, well, yeah, fantastic little assassin. And when I started playing this game, I think I saw one of the sort of chrome looking ones. I think they're the Locust PS. And I died quite early on in a match, like I say, when I first started playing. And I was watching this guy zipping about the battlefield and just wrecking everything. And I thought, back then, do you know what? I think I'd like to get myself one of those at some point. And it took me a surprisingly long time to actually get around to buying it, but when I did, I'm so glad I did. I've never looked back. Now again, I took another couple of hits coming across there, which has left me on perilously low health, but I took down that poor guy from full health. And now it's just a case of how much more damage I can actually do before somebody either clips me, manages to get a shot in me, or I wreck myself on a jump. Ooh, if I can just get away from him. Come on, just stay out of the way of his gun. Right, that's another kill. Let's see how many I can get. Oh, that was a close one. If I remember, I think that's a Type 91. Oh, tank destroyer, that's not good. Luckily he missed. Managed to get round the side of him. And that's all she wrote for that guy, I'm afraid. Oh dear. That heavy's back after me again. I've got to be careful, the water's slowing me down quite a bit. Yes, try and avoid water at all costs in this. It does seem to slow down very drastically, a lot more than a lot of other tanks. Now I know he's up there, and I'm going to try and keep a bit hard cover in between me and him and hope that he doesn't get round in time. Oh, he did, but he missed, thankfully. Luckily, they don't have the most accurate guns, those Type 91s. And like I said before, this is a small target. And when you're bobbing and weaving along at full pelt, it can be quite tricky to hit. Of course, there are always those hits that, you know, just happen to hit you and knock your tracks off, and then everybody else just blows you to bits within a couple of seconds. Oh, can I kill this Type 91? That'd be good. Come on. Nope. I think I pushed my luck a little bit too much there, and I should have just stayed away from him until the end of the match. But anyway, we'll skip to the end and see how I did. I did that match earlier on today, so just over 3,200 damage done, a high caliber, an ace tanker, a top gun and a sniper, and over 1,100 damage done with a gun that does 40 average per shot, so not a bad round at all. And that just sort of shows what a beast it can be in a tier 3 match. You know, when it's top tier, you can really just go to town and, well, get your crews trained up nice and quickly, getting sort of experience like that in a round. Anyway, I hope you've been entertained tonight. I hope I've educated you a little bit about the M22 Locust. Maybe you're going to go out and pick one up to train your American crews. So tomorrow I'll be back, I think, probably with a random destruction. So as always, take care out there, and I will catch you next time. See you later.